Afternoon all, how are you all doing? Afternoon Alex, Derp, Crom, Stefan, how are you all doing? I was just checking out the sentiment today. This Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, all these shorts on Aussie, New Zealand at the moment. Obviously we had a big rally off of this on the back of that New Zealand dollar weakness. There's an awful lot of shorts on it at the minute, but I still think it's got a chance of coming down, but I think we might get a little bit more of a rally up on this actually over the next couple of days, so we'll see what happens. Mr. DT, afternoon Steve. So just a quick recap of the day so far. 1.37% banked on ADR reversals, sitting at 1.79. Since this New Zealand dollar move, everything's pushed up against the New Zealand dollar. Nothing was really moved today. It's been very flat, just been flip-flopping up and down in the P&L. So yeah, 1.37 banked on ADRs, 1.45 banked on the H1M5, sitting in 0.5% of drawdown. Quite a few positions put on this morning. New trades basically on all these extensions on RSI. Can't see for some reason. I don't know why that suddenly decided to go all the way over there. That was all the way over there. So yeah, so load of new positions put on H1M5 today. All the RSI extensions that we looked at this morning. H4M15, 0.66 drawdown, 1.4 banked today. So that's doing very well. Lowest drawdown H4 at the moment, doing very well this month, but very little drawdown this month as well. Very good set file that this month. And H1 mean reversion 3.73, sitting in 3% profit. That's 2 days on the trot now. We've banked 3% on the H1 mean reversion, sitting in 3%, 18% banked for the month. Thank you very much. So that's today. Apart from that, not a lot else has moved. To say apart from that, bank load of money, but there's not a lot moving at the moment. So as you can see, so looking at this one, for example, Aussie New Zealand. So this is where we were this morning. We haven't gone anywhere today on this. All these H1 RSI extensions like the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar, US dollar, they're all kind of stagnating at the moment. So we might get some movement this afternoon. We'll see. Afternoon, Brian. Morning, play salty. Hiya all, yes, salty mofos. Is today the day? Today's always the day. It's TGIF bomb. Yeah. It is Friday. Usually quite slow this afternoon. Afternoon, Bellino. Afternoon, Steve. Can you confirm the name of the H4 set file? H4? I don't know. It's just the H4 mean reversion set file, which is that one, Lee H4 M5 mean reversion. Whoop. If you go into the file section in the Telegram group, they're all in there. All the ones with underscore Lee, those are all the ones I'm running. They're very similar to the ones on the. In fact, they're almost. I think they are the same as the ones on the blog post. Made 8% this week using your strategies manually. Cool, nice job. Afternoon, Christy. Did you run the EAs on the prop account as well? Yeah, I do run them on the prop account. On prop accounts. Yeah. Ones I'm allowed to. If I'm not allowed to, then I don't. Obviously. Yeah. Evening, Freddie. Aussie dollar Swiss is marching. Yeah. Big rally going on the Aussie dollar at the moment, or rather the Swiss franc. If you look at it, it's actually the Swiss franc weakening rather than anything else. So everything is pumping against the Swiss franc at the moment. I'm not quite sure why they've scaled out the Swissy. Right. So if you want to find all those set files, just go into the Telegram group. Yeah. And in the files section, can't see that, can't you? Yeah. In the files section, just click on files and just search for, if you just search for .set, that will find all the set files basically. Or just search for set maybe. That's the same thing. But you'll find all the set files in there. But they're pretty much the same as on the blog post. I haven't really made any changes to them. So what's on the blog post is what it is. Got it. Cool. The news this morning, there wasn't really any. The only thing we had was from Yellen this morning. Like to stay until the end of President Biden's first term. Didn't know you were getting sacked, but anyway. And we had that Nagel this morning. Rate hikes won't be the last, which we knew about, which is bullish euro. So other than that, we had the Bank of America saying something about tech funds. See 3 billion inflow, the largest since December 2021. Financials see 2.1 billion outflow, the largest since May 2022. Not quite sure what relevance that is, probably to the stock market, but we had pill talking this morning as well, but nothing particularly exciting came out about that. So no other news. We've got the bank, the UOM consumer sentiment this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So looking at the Dow, where we are at the moment with that, we've had a bit of a rally this morning. So we opened up through Globex, rallied through the London session, pulling back a little bit at the moment. Big propulsion gap targets to the downside. The Nasdaq has done very, very, very little. So you see the Nasdaq basically completely sideways so far today, gone absolutely nowhere. So it is Friday. Friday afternoons quite often tend to be a little bit dull. So we'll see what happens at the open, but I'm not expecting anything particularly exciting, but you never know. So we'll see what happens. Afternoon for Guinea. Migration has begun. Just saw the machine learning adaptive AI MA on YouTube. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. Machine learning adaptive AI MA on YouTube. We're all going to get killed by computers at some point, so we'll see. We had there was a bloke on the news this morning in the UK talking about AI and the fact that everybody thinks that AI is going to take over the world by like the Terminator sort of thing. So they're going to take over and launch nuclear weapons and blow us all up. What's probably going to happen is that AI will start to convince us of things like China is bad, and they will instigate a war, a nuclear war with China, because it can influence human beings and make us think that China is bad and trying to kill us. Therefore, we have to attack first. So it's more likely that the AI will be so intelligent that it will convince us to do something that we're not even aware that we're doing because it's more intelligent than we are. Rather than just pressing the button itself, it'll get us to press the button because it wants to get rid of us. Or it will convince us that global warming is a myth, and it will come up with lots of proof it's created that global warming doesn't exist. So that global warming happens, wipes out the human race, and then the machines can take over. That's what's really going to happen. Anyway, you probably tell I'm a bit bored today because the market hasn't really been moving since it banked all that money. So I've just been sitting here doing nothing. Well, I haven't actually been developing stuff. But, so your pre-market opening range breakout is to the downside. There's your 5-minute ORB or pre-market. There's your 15. It's pretty much the same thing. That 5-minute candle was the 5 and 15 really today. So you are short if you're playing the pre-market. If you're doing it on the Nasdaq, you have just gone long, and it's a little bit wicky today. So just be careful. I get the feeling we might do something like that for the first half an hour because we've got University of Michigan at 3 o'clock. So we'll have a look at all the RSIs. and we'll have a look at all the ADRs in a minute. We'll just wait for this 5-minute candle to open and just see where we go. Afternoon, it's time. Steve, a Lambo YouTuber just posted a viz about AI MA. Oh, right, okay. You're going to find this is what happens in the Forex industry. You get something new happening in the world, and they suddenly go and latch onto it, and their product is the best product because it uses this. So we had it with machine learning, and now we've got it with AI. So you're going to find that the marketplace is going to be flooded with EAs and strategies that use AI. None of them will work, but that's what you're going to get. If AI was able to trade effectively, obviously no one would ever make any money. If you think about the fact that AI could possibly become an expert trader and make money continuously, that would mean that there would be nobody on the opposite side to lose money. Therefore, the market cannot exist. Every time somebody makes money by ticking up, somebody loses money by ticking down. It's trying to tick down. So every time this goes from there to there, this person makes money, this person loses money. If AI could make money consistently, who's it going to trade against? Itself? It can't, because it's too efficient. It just can't happen. It's just physically impossible. Markets are made because there is a difference of opinion. Somebody has to lose money during that difference of opinion. ORB to the downside was lovely pre-market. Again, pre-market is just killing it at the moment. So there's your entry. 2R, straight down. Very nice. Opening range breakout. Where's Altro? I bet he's just sitting there going, because he's just made a load of money. New AI MA. Yeah. Won't be long. Nearav will come out with one soon. Anyway, on the bright side, yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah, so just letting you know how the human race is going to go extinct. Either that or the AI is going to develop a super virus, which it's going to somehow release. Anyway, we're all going to die. We're all doomed. Bloody me, this is a nice ORB today. Let's watch that get down to 3R. So just looking at where we're going on the Dow this afternoon, potentially. Yeah, yesterday's low and yesterday's high, obvious initial targets. We've got this 125 ADR to the downside, which is what we looked at. We've been looking at this all week for potential downside targets, and it's just on its way there at the moment. So looking at Wednesday, Thursday, could be today. However, it's Friday. We don't tend to get massive amounts of movement on the Fridays. So we'll see. Saying that, look at last Friday. But last Friday was news. But today we have got no news. So we'll see where we go. We're on our way to 3R anyway. Right. Let's have a look at the ADRs. So this is everything that's been taken out today. Mainly New Zealand dollar mean reversions. So if you look at all of the ADRs today, they're all New Zealand dollar based pretty much. I think everything is, apart from, no, everything is. Absolutely everything is today. So there's nothing hit ADR today apart from New Zealand dollar. So obviously this morning we had the inflation expectations, which came out as negative. New Zealand dollar tanked. So we've got some big moves there. Pound New Zealand being the main one. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is 125. Got one short on that at the moment. That is also an H1 mean reversion. So there's an H1 M5 mean reversion there. So drop down M5. That was your initial reversal alert this morning. You've just had another one there for a short. Euro New Zealand, same thing. So that is an ADR reversal at just under 150. We got to pretty much 150, but it's 125 officially. There's your M pattern in there. Why is that not redrawn? You've just had another reverse alert in there, but that was the first one. So looking for a drop on that. Also H1 RSI extension, which is actually turning over a little bit, but we are going into a bit of a flag on that, really, a bit of an accumulation. Pound New Zealand, so got short on that one. That's still pushing. So I got short at 150 ADR. We've just pushed. So remember this morning we looked at this and we said, wouldn't it be lovely if we got that propulsion gap filled at 175 to 200 ADR? Wouldn't that be a lovely entry? There it is. There's your entry. So beautiful, big, long drop available on that one. I've just taken that on. No, I haven't. Yes, I have. Yeah, I've just taken that on the Feedal Crest account as well. Short, because that's really nicely extended. Beautiful, above 80 on the hourly, so can't turn down an 80 on the hourly. So short on that. New Zealand dollar CAD, same thing. I've just taken this one long. No, I haven't. Sorry. Why didn't I take that? Oh, because I'm fully exposed. So I've got two New Zealands on. I've got Euro New Zealand short and Pound New Zealand short. So I didn't take the New Zealand CAD long because I wanted to take the Aussie dollar, US dollar long. So in that one long on here, though, nice propulsion gap fills to the upside. So if we do push down for second on that, you're looking at last week's low as potentially the next support. We've also got this area here, which is the double top. And that is exactly where we are now. And we've just put in that really nice rejection candle there. So potentially there's a 3-bar reversal going in right now, which could start the rally back up into there. This low, potentially this propulsion gap, 100 ADR will be spot on target for Monday, I would imagine. Maybe Tuesday, depending on what happens this week. Sorry, on Monday. So New Zealand dollar CAD, nicely extended. New Zealand dollar Swiss, that's your RSI extension to the downside, 100 RSI, M5 reversal alert has just gone in, literally on this candle right now. So look at a third of an ADR on that, which is going to be somewhere around about 22 pips, which is exactly in the middle of that propulsion gap. That's your target. And New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Reversal alert straight off of 125 ADR. Nice little wick down there. Reversal alert potentially retesting now for another leg up. So that is good. All look good. That is also H1. So every single one of these ADRs you can see on the New Zealand dollar, they are also H1 mean reversions. So Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, Euro New Zealand dollar, Pound New Zealand dollar, New Zealand dollar CAD, New Zealand dollar Swiss, New Zealand dollar yen, New Zealand dollar US dollar. So all the ADRs, basically, they're all H1 extensions as well. So every single New Zealand dollar pair, as you can see, is extended on the hourly. So all really good opportunities for longs, every single one of them. This New Zealand dollar is a massive move down off of what is a projected quarterly CPI figure. It's not even a proper CPI figure. It's an estimate by managers in big business. So it's it's not even the financial experts calling it. So this is a very big overreaction, I think. That I don't think this has got V-shaped recovery written all over it. Same as that. So I wouldn't have a problem getting into any of these, although that's coming down hard now. US dollar's pushing by the looks of things. Dow must be coming down. We only got 2R on it. It's putting back at the minute. So the US dollar's probably pushing at the moment. So look at that. Yeah, US dollar Swiss is rallying. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. It's a strength in the US dollar. That's why the New Zealand dollar, US dollars pushing down, and New Zealand dollar CAD. So we got some strength in the CAD as well. So the Aussie dollar CAD's probably coming down too. Yeah. So a bit of strength in the Canadian dollar. A little bit of a rally going on oil as well. So so that's all your RSIs on the hourly. The only ones that are not New Zealand dollar related is the Aussie dollar, US dollar, which I've just taken a long on. So this is only just extended. So it's gone quite flatline at the moment after this initial push down. We're sitting in this propulsion gap. I'm expecting a little bounce out of this. So I've taken a long on this on the Feedal Crest account. Potentially for a little bit of a pop, but not looking for anything exciting. Looking for it to get back up into this area here, and then potentially reject back down again from this propulsion gap. But it may well drop and continue to drop all the way down to there. So I'm prepared to scale into it if necessary. The only other extensions you've got on RSI that are not New Zealand related is US dollar CAD. So that's just coming out of extension now. That's really weird price action. Look at that. And a massive rally into that little accumulation there, and it's just totally sideways, not gone anywhere. So really equal movement on the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. Absolutely no bias either way. Big propulsion gap targets to the downside though. So just got the one sell on, looking to get out somewhere down there. That's it on those. 4-hour RSI extensions, pretty much the same. It's all New Zealand at the moment. So New Zealand dollar CAD, 4-hour. So that's really nicely extended to the downside. So where we are at the moment, we're sitting in this propulsion gap, this little balance here. So somewhere in there, we're looking to find some support to come back up into here. Very big M pattern reversal, but the speed and size of this move, look, we haven't had a rest on that at all. Same as this, look. We're going to get a pullback on it at some point. It is extended, but if this New Zealand dollar is going to continue to drop, obviously it may well do, but we'll scale into it. So there's one entry on the H1 on that. New Zealand dollar yen, also extended to the downside. This is down to 25 now. Got 2 yens on already, 2 New Zealands on at the moment, and I do want to get some yen on as well. I can't find anything else to get in on the yen at the minute. This is potentially a good level. I might see if we get down to ADR. If we get an ADR on New Zealand yen today, I might take that as well. That overexposes me a little bit on the New Zealand dollar. That's the only thing. And it's slightly worrying that we got this down here, which we may well come down and test first, which is another ADR basically. But it could well bounce here. So that's looking pretty good, that New Zealand dollar yen. It's extended on the 4-hour, so I kind of like it from that respect. New Zealand dollar US dollar is also extended on the 4-hour, really nicely embedded. We haven't been down there for a while. So we had a few extensions there, but you know, this isn't really going anywhere. The reason I don't like this one is we're bang in the middle of this range. Look, this could easily go either direction. So especially with the US dollar, so not the best in the world, that New Zealand US. We'll take it. I'm already in H1 long anyway. And Euro US dollar, that is 4-hour extension as well. So big extension to the downside, expecting that US dollar, Euro strength to start coming through, but not happening at the moment. If you look at the news, 3 o'clock, we've got University of Michigan, but going into next week, we have no news. We've got, kind of ignore that on Monday. We've got pound news Tuesday. We got US retail on Tuesday. Bank holiday. We got US unemployment on Thursday. That's it. So there's no news on the euro. There's no catalysts to drive this euro anywhere until we get to PMIs at the end of this month. So that's the only thing that's concerning me about this drop in the euro. There's no real reason for the market to do anything different with it at the moment. So if we get that continuation strength on the US that we got at the minute, this could well come down and keep coming down and get down to sort of below the 72. So I am going to get along on it. I'm just waiting for a little bit of a sign of strength in this at the moment, which we're not getting. So I will take along on this as well. I want to see some signs of strength, really. But either way, very nicely extended on the 4-hour. Dow's just pulled back into propulsion and rejecting. So that's good for shorts. NASDAQ up 2. There. No movement. Whipsaw. Looking bearish, though, across the board. So be more interested in shorts than longs. Right, let me just catch up on the chat. Brian, are you talking about the dude from Trade Tactics and the Lorentzian classification indicator? What? I'm going to have to copy and paste that one. Lorentzian classification indicator. That's a new one. Not heard of that one. Lorentzian classification machine learning driven trading view indicator is a supervised learning algorithm that uses labeled historical data to learn by the characteristics of a given chart pattern. Infinity Algo Academy. Good website. Oh my God. All right. So it's basically RSI, CCI, and ADX. So stick those three on the chart. When they align, get in. I'm pretty much sure that's what it is. The neighborhood Lorentzian space. God, dear. Talk about how to overcomplicate something. So it uses RSI. What's WT? ADX, CCI. Blimey. Whoa, is that the internet going again? No, that was just terminal freeze. Yeah, don't know. Can't zoom in on anything. You can't click on and zoom in on anything, so I can't actually see anything on the website. Looks complicated. New Zealand dollar yen, weekly range hit. Dow is out and off. Big shorts. Just watching my DAX position I've got on as well. I'm short on the DAX. That's not really getting anywhere. So DAX didn't do its gap fill this morning either, by the way. And we've obviously got that hourly, that gap on the hourly. So financial juice just want me to refresh. So 4R on the Dow. On the Dow, if you got, mind you, you'd be out on that pullback. Wow, that's really going for it. They're not happy with that. Probably US dollar strength coming through. Yeah, big push on US. Dude has given ChatGPT right strategies, is killing it on crypto and looking to adapt it to your bootcamp. Am I getting assimilated? Is this the Borg taking over? One short on Euro New Zealand, Brian? Yeah. That's on the H1 RSI extension at the moment. So it is starting to come over. This is a monthly high. This level is 2 months high. So that's the high from 2 months ago, basically, we're tapping back into, which is here. So this whole area here, this whole zone, was a nice support resistance area. So we came up into it, pushed through, came back, retested it, came back, accumulated, pushed back. So if we're going to continue on our short, this is exactly where I'd expect to get that bounce. So it looks good, Euro New Zealand. However, expecting some Euro strength. So double-edged sword, that one. I don't care which way it goes, though. We'll get out when we get out. Star Trek mention. Now we're going to a new level. I'm playing Star Trek Fleet Command at the moment, so I'm very Star Trek in my brain all the time. There's something going on in Star Trek. I'm just looking at my Fleet Command over there at the moment. I've got so many monitors. I've got so much space on my massive 48-inch monitor. Just pulling back again, very, very whippy today. Lots and lots of big movements up and down. Very difficult trading conditions. Lots of stop outs today. We've got propulsion gap forming now here. 3 minutes left on this candle though. That comes straight out of that propulsion gap, back up again. Dow doesn't look like it really has any interest in going long at all today. So I would be looking yesterday's low, but keep your stops fairly wide because these candles are big today. Very big. Right, I've not got a lot to cover this afternoon because we covered quite a lot this morning. There isn't really anything new to look at. So all that's happened today is we basically got all these movements put in this morning, and it's either starting to undo those moves or it's not gone anywhere and it's gone totally sideways. So everything that I covered this morning in the live room from an analysis perspective, I've just covered again now. And it's all pretty much the same thing because we haven't had a lot of movement. So as you can see, we've just rallied, basically. We've either gone sort of half an ADR on from where we were, which means we're still extended and it's still a good opportunity to mean revert, or it's not. So, yeah, basically just same as this morning, really. So unless you've got any other pairs you want to have a look at, let me know. Otherwise, I haven't really got anything else to cover this afternoon. I'm not expecting it to be a busy afternoon today because we've got the University of Michigan at 3 o'clock. And it's Friday afternoon, mid-month. So we tend to have quite quiet sessions. So either we're going to get the start of mean reversions on these, or they're more likely going to just accumulate for the afternoon. And then Monday, we'll either take off, need to get a second leg in, or they'll come back down again. So everything we've got set up here is all New Zealand dollar based. So just make sure you don't over leverage on the New Zealand, but everything else is kind of flat at the moment. There's not really anything else to look at on anything because we're just mid-range on all sorts of stuff at the moment. We're waiting for these euros to mean revert. Got out of that one this morning. Euro CAD, which was that one there. So yeah, we're just waiting, but I don't anticipate an awful lot happening. So there's not really a lot to look at. So if anybody's got anything else I want to look at, let me know. But otherwise, I will probably call it a fairly short session today because it's all a bit dull. Mr. DT, have you ever had more than one big squeeze at the same time? Not, yeah, a couple. Mainly when you get over leveraged. That's the main reason you'll get big squeezes. You don't tend to get two currencies squeezing at the same time because the market can't usually withstand it. So you have to think about how the mechanism of the currency markets work. You've got two currencies which are being moved. Yeah. So if there is a strong fundamental change, for example, in the fundamentals open. If you get a big fundamental shift in interest rates for the Australian dollar, for example, or you get a big miss in inflation on the pound or something like that, what you tend to find is you get a sustained rally when the fundamentals shift, which are shifting unexpectedly. So you'll find that the pound will suddenly drive down hard. For them to drive the pound down hard and scale out of the pound, what they have to do is use that pound and put it somewhere else. So what you tend to find is that will get distributed among the other currencies. So when something is dramatically moving, the others will tend to get their fair share of what comes out of that currency. So you don't tend to get two things squeezing at the same time. One of the reasons the news is spread over the month, we don't get all the interest rates landing the same day. We get them landing weeks apart usually, is because it needs to allow the market time to move up and down when it's readjusting itself with each individual currency. So you don't tend to get squeezed on two things at the same time. If there's a massive world event like the Ukraine war starting, everything will suddenly change. So that's when you tend to get multiple squeezes. But the H1, if you look at the set file on the market reverse alert CA that is running, that's the best way to find it. That's the signal. So this is the signal running for the H1M5 mean reversion. This has been running for 83 weeks now, nearly 200%. Oh, 100% soon. We'll have to have a party. So this ran through the Ukraine war, which was March 22, wasn't it? There. So there was multiple squeezes during March 22. So this experienced a massive drawdown. Nearly 50% of the account drawn down, and the same in September. But that's what happens when you get multiple squeezes. As long as you're not overexposed and you're keeping to the maximum exposure rules, you shouldn't have a problem. Because if you've got one thing squeezing hard in one direction and one other thing squeezing hard in the other direction, in theory, you should be on the other one the other way. So you'll get a little bit of profit on one and you won't get opportunities to get into the other one. So as long as you haven't got that exposure on, you shouldn't get too much problems in squeezes. The times you get troubles with squeezes is when you get in too close together. That's when a squeeze will kill you. If you get two squeezes happening at the same time and you're scaling in too fast and too soon, it's all over, basically. Which is why the EA is so beautiful, because the EA doesn't think, it does what it's told. If you tell it to get in one ADR apart, it'll get in one ADR apart. If you get a squeeze, it will go like that. If you're a human being, you'll go, oh, this is the turning point. Oh, this is the turning point. Oh, this is the turning point. Oh, crap. None of those were the turning point. I'm now in 5 shorts when I should be in 2. That's when you get into trouble. So this is the advantage of using the market reverse alert CA. And as you can see, 83 weeks, this thing's been trading 6 currencies, is it? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 currencies. And it's absolutely fine because it's not overexposing itself. So yeah, I mean, you will get times where you get multiple squeezes, but they're rare, very rare. But who knows what's going to happen in the future? We didn't think the Swiss franc peg was ever going to be removed. They removed that, and everyone went bankrupt. You know, things happen. This is a dangerous industry to be in at any time. Brian just got an advert for Jeff Seckinger, AI Algo, former JP Morgan trader, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They're not silly, these people from banks. They're quite intelligent, you know, and they have money. Oh, hello. University of Michigan's just come out. New Zealand dollar yen extended. So UOM, a miss for the US dollar. 125 ADR New Zealand dollar Swiss. Blimey, that was quick. Oh, look at that. Why did we get that on the New Zealand dollar Swiss? That was US dollar news. Dow's just gapped down massively. Huge gap down on the Dow. Forgot about the news. Not a massive reaction to that. It is negative US though, so we might see a little bit of a rally against the US dollar. Be nice because I've got 2 shorts on the US. Dow's coming back down, so the Dow wasn't particularly interested in that at all. Play Salty Games. Been in this guy's Discord for a couple of months now. It's awesome. Good group, all working together, tweaking and optimizing. I don't trade crypto, so not my bag. It's all gambling, crypto. Fisi, just a quick one. How often does your retail sentiment refresh? Every hour? Let's say everything you need to know about everything that I ever do is all explained in minute detail on the website. Yeah. So if you go to the retail sentiment section, there's this big bit of text here that says last update 1:57 p.m. today. If you refresh that in an hour, it will say 2:57 p.m. today. All on there. Steve, have I added ads to the chat? No. To the chat? Only my Streamlabs pushes ads into the chat, but not ads. They're just links to the website. There's no ads in the chat, is there? Well, I haven't. I don't have any control over it. It's YouTube. I don't do anything to do with it. Has YouTube added ads into the chat, is it? I can't see any ads. Mind you, I'm looking at a chat. I'm looking at this. Look, this is what I see. I don't see the actual chat window on YouTube, so I don't know what's going on YouTube. Hopefully they haven't added ads into the chat. That'd be very annoying. Mr. DT, to clarify, with the H1 set file you just showed on those 12 pairs, are you having any intervention? No. So yeah, well, I say no. It's 96% algo trading, but that was not because of intervention. That was because of a cock up. So no, I don't intervene with this. It's all the EA. I let this run, just so that people can see that it, just see what it does unattended. I obviously don't advocate running it unattended. I advocate trading and using it to trade with. But for the people that do want to have the sit on a beach Mai Tai, this is what you would expect. And you will expect to get 50% drawdown on your account at points. But if you're happy to make 196% over a couple of years, that's what it'll do. You can make a lot more than that if you actually trade. Are you buying a lot of New Zealand dollar? Not a lot, no. I am buying some though, yeah. Just on all these mean reversions. There's lots of opportunities on New Zealand today. So every single one of these extensions is an opportunity to get in on mean reversion. So they're all extended. All the New Zealand dollar pairs basically at the moment are all massive extensions. So beautiful rejection. Look at that New Zealand dollar CAD. 3 wicks to the downside now. That's a really nice looking long. I've got the Aussie dollar US on, which is not dissimilar to that from a movement perspective. Can you give the name of this website about retail sentiment? That's my website. Just go to my website. Links along the bottom, constantly. All those links along the bottom, they will go to my website. Ads, other people promoting other groups, etc. No. Gold, Steve. Somebody had to say it. Mr. Wick, I haven't looked through. I'm going to look through my Mr. Wicks. I haven't looked through my Mr. Wicks for ages. Look. Oh. Mr. Wick with his dogs and his goat. Missed him. I haven't been using him much lately. I've got bored with Mr. Wick. That's today. That's this month. Look at that. That's what happens if you over leverage your account. That's what you can't do. Unless you got one of those. Anyway, gold. God, I'm bored. Friday afternoons. Gold. We'll have a look at oil as well in a minute. So we're just stuck in the middle at the moment again. So we're coming out of this propulsion gap. So we've gone from a range, price discovery, range. I don't know. Don't know where we're going from here. There's only been one opportunity to short this and one opportunity to long this in the last month, basically. That was your long, that was your short. It's just sideways at the minute. Gold. Not really managing to get anywhere. The US dollar is not strong or weak enough to move anything. So, yeah, it's just not going anywhere at the minute. I can't even say whether it's a good long or short. It's just impossible to read. It's exactly the same as the DAX. Just no idea. It's going to go somewhere from here. Just flip a coin. Could go anywhere, couldn't it? All depends what the next market moving event is for the US dollar, basically. So if we get a sudden rally on the US dollar, all the indices will come down and gold will come down. If the US dollar collapses, it's all going to go back the other way. So we're just waiting to see what happens with the US dollar. And at the moment, it's just stagnant. So we're hitting these terminal rates. So this is the problem. We're getting to terminal rate on the fundamentals, basically. So the market, whereas it had potential good, solid forward guidance from the Fed, although the Fed is always woolly, it was always, we need to increase our interest rates. We're now sitting here not really knowing where to go. We're at terminal rate, or what we think is terminal rate, and the inflation figures haven't got to where they wanted them to be. So we're stuck at the moment, really waiting to see what the Fed does next. I think the next CPI figure we get is going to be the telling point as to whether we get this rally or dump on the US. They're not saying they're going to reduce the rates this year. So if they're not going to increase the rates and they're not going to reduce the rates, we're going to stagnate unless somebody overtakes. If we get another currency beating it, i.e. the Canadian dollar is really the only thing, possibly the pound. The pound we're calling 5 as a terminal rate at the moment. New Zealand dollar is not going to go any higher than that, I wouldn't think. So the only thing we've got is the CAD, but they froze their rates. So there's just no reason for this to go up or down at the moment. And we're heading into summer trading. And summer trading is where we contract. So very difficult, gold. I think you're going to find it's going to be quite tricky to get any money out of that unless you're intraday and you're lucky. Scalping wise, it's probably pretty good. Euro New Zealand 150 ADR, still pushing that New Zealand dollar. So yeah, gold is very tricky. Still pushing. Why did I get out of that? Shouldn't have got out of that yesterday. I did. Yeah, tricky. Oil was stuck as well. We had that 4-day cycle. We had a little bit of a drop yesterday. We came straight out of that propulsion. Looking for that to go up. But I think the only way you'll get any movement on gold is if the Ukraine war finishes now. Any decent continuous trending. So until the Ukraine war sorts itself out, it's going to be quite difficult, I think, to really appreciate or depreciate gold because Russia's sitting on an absolute bucket load of the stuff. And until the supply reduces to a level that means we need that Russian gold and they lift those export bans, there's no real reason for it to go anywhere, is there? If you look at it on the daily chart, since the Ukraine war, gold hasn't moved. We're up at the highs though, so potentially, but that's going to require a strong US dollar, and the US dollar hasn't got any interest rate rises left in it, so there's not really anywhere for the US dollar to go. So again, it's just, I get the feeling we're going to get to a stagnation in the market. Not that it bothers us, because if you're trading the hourly timeframes, the hourly timeframes are going to move around anyway. But we might find in the summer months we're going to start to need to change the RSI back to 14 again to try and get some entries. So if we get to the point where we're starting to see the P&Ls go flat and the risk go flat, that's when we'll need to expand, expand our RSI levels and go with something a little bit more sensitive. But I don't know, gold, oil, they're both the same thing. They're too volatile. And not directionless, but too difficult to predict. As the Dow is. So the Dow's just dropped out and tapped into the next propulsion gap on M5. And they've just rebought that. So that's low of the day now. Gone in. Target. We're going to continue to the downside down there. Yeah, we need some new ones. We need some new John Wicks. Done everything I want to do with John Wick now, though. Got all the John Wicks. It's like collecting cards. I've got all the John Wicks. It's like playing Pokemon. So let's go Neo. Let's get all the Neos. So we got the John Wicks. Let's go Neo next. We'll use Keanu. Right, that's all I've got for you today, really. There's nothing else. I don't think you're going to get much else today. US dollar at the moment, off the back of the news, it looks like it's having a little bit of, or trying to have a little bit of a rally, but not really getting anywhere off the Michigan news. No real big pushes to the upside or the downside at all. So we're putting in 2 spinning tops on Euro US dollar. Not going anywhere, are we? 3 hours sideways at the minute. So I would go and do something else this afternoon, really. Any exposure you've got on, you're probably going to find is just going to stay in drawdown now until Monday, Tuesday. So we'll have to wait for these New Zealand dollar pairs to put their brakes on and revert. But apart from that, that's kind of it. So I'll leave it there. And if you need anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. As usual, I'm back on Monday at 7:50 for the London session and 2:20 Monday for New York. News-wise over the weekend, there's nothing forecast over the weekend. And Monday, all we've got is Empire State Manufacturing, which is pre-New York Open. So there's no real news to speak of on Monday. Very light week next week. There's nothing particularly exciting apart from the Canadian CPI. Might get some movement off of retail. We got Aussie unemployment and we got US unemployment. So it's all spread out. There's no interest rates. The only CPI we've got is the Canadian. So it's a fairly light week next week. So should just get normal movement and hopefully some unraveling on the New Zealand, which would be nice. A few of these RSI ADRs are getting a little bit more extended as well. So just keep an eye on those. Got to get my Feedall news list ready. Yep. Go and check your Feedall news list. See what harmonic figures or other things they're talking about. Thanks for the follow. Oh no, there's another one I can't pronounce. Well, I know what the first word is, Eritrean. Eritrean Hidmona Meda. There we go. Thanks for the subscribe. Welcome aboard. So yeah, be in the Telegram group if you need me. There's links down the bottom to the website. Obviously, if you want to access the Telegram group, there's loads of links on the website all over the place to Telegram. Be back Monday. Obviously, might make something this afternoon, might not. But if not, I will see you guys Monday, 7:50 for the new London session. Have a good weekend. We'll see you then.